Welcome back to Journey to Self. I am Sandy Bartlett, your host, and we are diving into another episode of our Becoming Visible series. This is episode 14, and it is all about rewriting your story, owning your voice, and visibility in your second spring. This one is deeply personal to so many of us, owning our voice and rewriting the story we tell ourselves. We've talked about visibility in terms of confidence and beauty, but what about your story? Have you ever caught yourself saying, I'm just not the kind of person who speaks up. I've never been a leader. It's too late to change my path. These stories didn't start yesterday. Many of us were taught since childhood to stay small, stay agreeable, stay quiet. But here's the truth. You are not the old story you've been telling yourself. You can rewrite it. You can reclaim it. And today I'm going to show you how. But first, let's do our intuitive moment. The card I pulled for today's episode is Earth from my Mystical Shaman Oracle deck, and its message is clear. It's time to root deeply into who you are. Earth is stability, abundance, and the foundation beneath our feet. It reminds us that we are supported, that we belong, and that everything you need to grow is already within us. But sometimes we forget. We feel untethered, constantly shifting to meet others' expectations. We doubt whether we are enough, looking outside ourselves for validation. We hustle for worth, forgetting that we are already whole, that our presence alone is enough. The Earth card is an invitation. Come home to yourself. Where do you need to plant roots and claim your space? What parts of you need nourishment and care? How can you stop searching outside yourself and trust that you are enough exactly as you are? This card also carries a message of abundance, reminding us that when we act with integrity, gratitude, and authenticity, we attract exactly what we need. As we explore today's theme about rewriting your story and reclaiming your voice, let's hold on to this truth. You are not lost. You are not lacking. You are grounded, supported, and more powerful than you realize. Let's step into that energy together. So let's go back for a moment to childhood. I do that a lot. So let's look at childhood. Think about it. Were you encouraged to speak up, or were you told to be quiet and not make waves? Were your ideas valued, or were they dismissed? Did you feel safe expressing emotions, or did you learn to swallow them? Maybe you were the child who was told you're too much, or the one who was praised for being the quiet one, or the one who learned that keeping the peace was more important than telling the truth. And so we carried that into adulthood. We stayed silent in relationships. We held back in meetings. We didn't apply for the job. We let others decide who we were because we were taught to believe our voices weren't strong enough to shape our own story. But here's what I want you to hear. You do not have to be the person you were told to be. You can reclaim your voice and rewrite your story. Let's talk about how. For a long time, I believed my story was already written. I spent years following what I thought I was supposed to do, being agreeable, accommodating, not asking for too much. Until one day, someone asked me a question that stopped me cold. If you could do anything with no expectations from anyone, what would you do? And I didn't have an answer. because for so long I had been living a story that wasn't mine. That was the moment I realized I needed to start listening to my own voice, not the voices that had shaped me. So I started rewriting my story. I stopped apologizing for speaking my truth. I stopped waiting for permission to take up space. And I stopped believing the old narratives that said I wasn't enough. And let me tell you, it changed everything. I want you to sit with this for a moment. What is one story you've been telling yourself that no longer serves you? Where have you been silencing yourself? What would a new story sound like? This week, take 5 minutes to write it down. Here's some examples. Instead of, I'm not good at speaking up, try, I have a voice and my words matter. Instead of, I've never been a leader, try, I am stepping into my power and leading in my own way. And instead of, it's too late to change, try, I am rewriting my story every day. Because you are. For our whispers of wisdom, there's a quote from Brene Brown that I love. Owning our story and loving ourselves through that process is the bravest thing we will ever do. Sit with that for a little bit. What if your past didn't define you? What if you stopped waiting for permission? What if you started writing the next chapter on your terms? You can. This week, I want you to take one bold step in rewriting your story. Option 1, write a letter to your younger self, telling her what you wish she had known. Option 2, change your inner dialogue. Catch yourself in negative self-talk and reframe it. Take some practice, but you can do it. Or option 3, speak up about something small. Your needs, your thoughts, your truth. And if you're ready to dive deeper, my Second Spring Awakening coaching program is all about reclaiming your voice and rewriting your story. You'll find the link in the show notes. So let's talk about what's next for you. You are not the old story you've been telling yourself. You are not too late, you are not too much, and you are not too little. You are in control of your own narrative. Next week, we're going to talk about stepping into your power and setting boundaries that honor your worth. Because once you claim your voice, the next step is protecting it. If this episode resonated with you, share it with a friend who needs this message. And until next time, be true to you.